Welcome back, guys and gals. Welcome back here. Better late than never here this morning. Having some technical issues getting started. Thanks for your patience, everybody. Welcome back. My name is JJ. I'm a technical analyst here from schooloftrade.com. I want to welcome you back here for our 7:30 a.m. morning prep. We're going from the screen to the trading floor this morning. My name is Joseph. I'm a lonely old technical analyst. I'm a day trader. I'm also a teacher with schooloftrade.com. Come out and see me every day, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And this morning, I'm going to be providing you with a top-down technical approach, analyzing overnight, the London trading session. We're using multiple time frames this morning to anticipate the direction at the open and look for those high percentage trading opportunities starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Time this morning. Once I'm done with you, I'm going to toss you all the way across the continent from Los Angeles to New York City. We're going right to the NYMEX exchange. And I've got Marty Errico, our pit specialist. Marty's got his feet on the ground in the NYMEX exchange, and he's going to be talking about market direction, intermarket divergence, market internals, some of the most important option prices, and as always, we'll be looking at those important pit session trading levels starting here this morning at the opening bell at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on the NYMEX exchange. Without any further delay, let's get started. And this morning, the first thing I want to highlight is the dollar index. Now, the first thing we always want to mention here is let's take a look at what news we have this morning. Do we have any major news in the calendar today? Looking over at the news worksheet this morning, we know that we've got news starting us out here. I'll head over to Econo Day. And we know this morning we have some news to prepare for. We've got some very important news that will be impacting crude oil futures this morning. Most importantly, here on a Tuesday morning, relatively sideways range yesterday, coming in this morning, much of the same. We've got durable goods at 8:30 this morning. This is going to be a big number today. We recently had some news out of Boeing aircraft, rather large orders from Boeing that will skew that durable goods orders this morning, but definitely be looking for early morning opportunities starting at 8:30. Then we jump down to 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock this morning. 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. We've got more news on the calendar. You'll notice we've got consumer confidence at 10 o'clock. We've also got some new home sales, right, and some home prices. So 8:30, 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock this morning for your news. Let's jump right into the dollar. Big important clues coming out of the dollar this morning, guys. What I can see on this 60-minute chart of the dollar is that we have run all the way up into the major sell zone, and now this dollar is moving lower. Now, what caused the prices in the dollar to jump up were the comments from the Fed last Wednesday at the FOMC report, right? Comments from the Fed, we're going to be easing off the gas pedal. That was a bad pun. Easing off the gas pedal for stimulus. And, of course, the less stimulus meant less printing of money, and that caused the dollar to jump. Well, that dollar jumps, and now, of course, as we pull back off that big pop-up, we find ourselves testing this 82.405 area. In my humble opinion, the dollar still has room to go lower, which means in the long run this morning, we can expect to see lower prices on the dollar, which will most likely continue to push gold prices higher, crude prices higher, euro prices higher, etc., etc. Now, this is a 60-minute chart, so this will be the long term. Let's take a little bit of a look at the short term here on the dollar, because the short-term dollar really is the more important thing this morning. What I want to reference first is if we change this to a 30-minute chart on the dollar, you'll notice we have a rather large bullish channel. You can see the bull channel in the dollar index giving us major support now at those lows. So here we are on the dollar now, right at the lows, right at that major support for our dollar. Now I zoom back in, change this now down to a 5-minute chart. I'm a big fan of that technique, starting with a 30-minute chart, finding the big picture stuff, and then moving down to a 5-minute chart on the same chart, right? That way you can see here, there's that bull channel low that we can see right there. So what is this telling us? This bullish channel tells us that we really have some concerns about falling prices this morning. How on earth are we going to drop lower with all of this support below us? So the 60-minute chart, the 5-minute chart tells us that, well, getting lower here in the dollar is going to be a little bit of a difficult, it's going to be a challenge. We've got lots of support below us from this lows of this channel, but we know that long term we still have room to keep on falling, right, to making new lower lows. So what does this tell us? It tells us that there's a good chance here this dollar is going to jump, right? It's going to jump higher. And what that's going to do is it's going to give us selling opportunities on crude oil, euro, gold, not so much the equity markets, but the commodities and the currencies are highly correlated to this dollar. Bottom line is, if this dollar starts to jump higher this morning, we've got to look to the sell side this morning in the markets we trade. On the flip side, if the dollar continues to bury lower, now we know it's going to be a buyer's market this morning. So keep an eye on this dollar. Where this dollar goes early in the session is going to be a very important clue for us this morning. Now, with the dollar done, let's now move over to crude oil. And for crude oil this morning, the first thing I'm doing is I'm opening up an hourly chart. Hourly chart on crude gives us even more fuel to the fire, right, telling us to sell short. What do we see on this hourly chart of crude? The hourly chart of crude shows that we have indeed tumbled off of these highs. You can see almost a mirror image of the dollar index, right? You'll see the same thing on the gold and the euro. And what happened, of course, Fed comments come out. Fed statement says less stimulus. And whenever we hear less stimulus, right, that usually equals less recovery. And of course, less recovery basically because of less demand, right? We will see less recovery, less demand on crude oil futures, aircraft carriers or aircraft shipping companies, small businesses opening new businesses, different things like that, right? So we know that that's what drove prices down. Now here this morning we come in and we are just about to test, or we are testing this 96.71 to 95.94 sell zone. As you can see here this morning, we definitely can expect to see falling prices on crude oil, and that would line directly up with the dollar moving higher. Remember, that dollar is sitting on support. We expect that dollar to rise, and that will push crude oil lower. If that dollar does rise, this is a perfect combination of technicals and fundamentals this morning. I'm going to use that dollar correlation right in tune with this resistance, right? Think about it that way. Dollar support is crude oil resistance, right? Synthetic resistance would be dollar support. So here we have all the reasons in the world to look for selling opportunities on crude oil. We do know, though, if that dollar decides to go lower, we will try to force our way through here. We can easily see the higher percentage trades will be to the short side here this morning, considering that we were in the sell zone at 95.93, and we've tested and failed at 95.94. The easy money is selling short this morning, but I need to make sure the dollar is confirming that rise in prices. The more difficult trades today will be buying here. And again, I have to make sure before I start buying that that dollar is confirming to the downside. Moving further here this morning, let's look at some specific price levels we have to work with on crude oil this morning. And those specific price levels we have, you can see crude oil trading in a relatively narrow range as we come out of London. One very important thing you want to keep an eye on is that previous high of day at 95.59, previous high of day at 95.59, that's yesterday's high. And then we've got Friday's high at 95.84. So we know that the previous highs are very, very important. If we collapse below the previous high of day, this will be a down day. This will be a bearish sentiment morning. And we can see here that crude oil has tested already that 95.61. That is the high end of that trigger zone. 95.33 is the next level below me. Remember, we think that selling this morning will be the higher percentage trades. So look for price to test that reversal zone, looking for shorts, or again, if that dollar takes off to the upside, as we think it should, doesn't mean it's guaranteed to. If the dollar takes up to the upside, though, we will be looking to sell retracements as long as we're not selling directly into any of these major support levels. So we'll be trading right around these support levels as we go lower. Let's take a look at the levels I have below me here this morning. Important levels we have below us, 95.61. And again, all these levels will be going up here very soon on the blog this morning. 95.61, 95.33. I've got 95.12, 94.86. I've got 94.52, 94.15, and of course 93.56 this morning. Those are my levels below me. Again, as always, I'll be looking for price to bounce in the reversal zone for a short-term buy. I'm always looking for price reversals at each of these support levels. I'm also, if I'm short, will use these levels as a profit target. Moving higher now, and again, I'll be posting this chart on the blog here shortly. Moving higher now, we can see we have resistance levels overhead. Resistance overhead begins at 96.09, 96.36, 96.69, and 97.06. Again, we have a previous high of day here at 97.23, and then we've got all the way up our big time reversal level, 97.66. So remember, the dollar index is telling us we should be looking for selling opportunities this morning. We also see the 60-minute chart on crude oil telling us to look for selling opportunities this morning. So again, if that dollar starts to jump higher, and at the same time, I'll be looking to sell retracements using our wave patterns. As long as they're not selling directly into support levels, I'll be executing those trades short this morning. Use the support levels below me to buy or take profit. Use the resistance levels above me to sell or take profit. And don't forget about that news starting out here at 8:30 a.m. this morning. Now that you've heard from me, let's see if Marty's also seeing that strong dollar. Let's see if Marty's also seeing those selling opportunities on crude oil, and let's see if I'm on track here this morning. Marty, how are we doing out there this morning? Great to have you back today. Take it from here, my man.
Alrighty, thank you, JJ. Good morning to you. Alrighty, so guys, this morning what we've been seeing is obviously, as we mentioned, dollar index trading at 82.46 even. We have been watching the dollar just kind of trade sideways, as JJ was mentioning today. Overall net change is lower on the day by about 20 points or so. Alrighty, guys, so the screen's up here, and you guys are going to see that we have a couple things here in store for crude, natural gas, RBOB, and heating oil this morning. Right now we see all the products trading at a net change higher this morning. Real quickly before I move on to just the worksheets here, you can see on crude we're pretty much sitting at the high of one of our bullish channels and our wedge. So honestly, one of the levels that I'm watching here is going to be 95.90. A lot of guys on the trading floor. I'm sitting actually in the cafeteria right now, and we are talking just a bit here with a few locals of my friends here, Dan and Rick, and we're talking about 95.90. Okay, so we're looking for an opening print above 95.90. We can get above there. We can pretty much clear that 96 even and trade a little bit higher, and I'll give you guys some targets in a second. So we are looking for a little bit of a bullish sentiment if we can open up above 95.90 for a few reasons. We have products trading higher this morning. As we look at our laptops, we're looking at the RBOB and the heating oil, both trading just a bit higher today. Volatility is dramatically bid. It's been dramatically bid and staying bid up above 24.50, 25 bucks in implied volatility quite consistently now, and that's been quite bullish for crude. So we have been watching this higher volatility, open interest rising as well, 280,560, which we'll talk about in a minute as well. So right now, as I mentioned, crude, RBOB, Brent, heating oil, all trading higher. Brent up above 101.50 right now, so that's rather bullish as well. So crude, once again, the level 95.90. We're looking for the pit session opening bell print above that level to get up to the 90, as JJ even had on his chart, 90. Up to 96.5 and maybe even trade even higher. So right now we could expect that. If we do not open up above 95.90, we can expect somewhat of a sideways range, and as we just saw here on this chart real quickly, a possible fade back into the low of our channel and the lows here of this range. So pretty simply put it there, guys. Again, fading back into the range if we do not open up above 95.90. So back over to our chart, you can see that we're looking at all of our markets trading higher. Our spreads are rather bullish as well. Guys, Brent WTI spread falling below $6, 581 right now on the spread, and it is in contango today by about 20 cents, so that's bullish. The calendar spreads this morning on crude have been pointing for a little bit of a bullish sentiment as well, ladies and gentlemen. Again, maybe sideways to bullish. It depends where we open this morning in the pit. As we take a quick look at our spreads, you can see they're all bullish territory here coming in contango. So as we mentioned, dollar is lower this morning on a net change. We have all of our other major currencies higher to sideways. So again, dollar trades lower, crude will trade higher as we are net short on the dollar this morning so far. Let's just quickly take a look here now at our levels this morning. Alrighty guys, so now we just talked about crude, RBOB, heating oil, all trading higher. Let's take a look at these levels and try to nail a target here. So yesterday's pit session high was 95.59. Your pit session low was 93.07. We end up closing and settling the day at 95.15. Today on crude, your daily pivot is 94.60, which we are trading above right now by a full $1. We have resistance up above at 96.13, 96.13, 97.12, and 99.64. Support down below at 93.61, 92.08, and 89.56. So quite simply put it here, if we can open up above that 90 level, we can possibly test that 96.13 and then kind of gradually work our way up higher. That would be in full condition to buy wave patterns, as JJ was mentioning. And if we don't open up above 95.90, we can watch sideways, chop trade back into our range and back into our wedging channels. So in the pit yesterday, pretty interesting kind of trades here we saw in the pit, in the options pit at least. In the outright pit, we saw some solid buying coming in from locals and really paper establishing that net long position. Again, it kind of seems to me locals kind of two-sided, and they take off profit at the end of the day as they sell up those 95 halves. Again, they sell out 95 halves, and you can see we end up today at 95.15. But in the options pit, we saw 95 even strikes, 100 strikes, and 102 strikes, all in August, trade over 3,000 times. So they each buy the call 3,000 times, 95 call, 100 call, 102 call. In the Augie SEP, we saw over 15,000 100 calls trade. So some bullish type of activity, right? But right as quick as we saw that those calls be bid, and we saw those August 90 puts, there was about 5,000 bought yesterday as well in the pit. So, but still, I think a little bit more activity on the call side, if you ask me. So that's kind of what we've been looking at. Again, open interest currently stands at 280,560 this morning, and we have been watching open interest kind of hold steady around this 280,000 handle, kind of showing that there's really no shorts getting kind of squeezed out, and really no shorts in the market at the moment. That's kind of what it's telling me. So shorts are squeezed, and pretty much longs in the market. Natural gas, real quickly, we have expiration of the options today. Tomorrow is going to be roll into the front month Augie. I am looking at Augie levels now today, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're going to be expecting expiration to close and settle around 375, so I really think that that's where we're going to hold for now. I think we trade sideways in a chop trade today, pending options expiration. Again, a lot of options, and the most open interest is around the 375 level, so I really think we'll sit around 375. Let's just really quickly talk about some levels here above and below on your natural gas. Again, pit session high from yesterday, 383.60. Your pit session low, 375.30, which is some great support. We end up closing and selling the day at 376.10. Today, your daily pivot is going to be 378.30. Resistance above, 381.30, 386.60, and 394.90. Down below, we have 373.10, 370.10, and 361.70. Open interest currently stands at 173,896, with really implied volatility ticking above 30% in anticipation of options expiration. Again, there's a lot of activity in that 375 put and call, so I think we settle around that level. And that's really, guys, about it. Again, come join us tomorrow. I'm going to throw it back over to JJ, and I'll see you all in just about 45 minutes.
Awesome stuff, Marty. Thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for coming in and joining us. Directly from the trading floor, guys, it's Marty Errico at Traders Audio. And everybody, I want to thank you for joining in this morning. As always, Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we do our formal screen-to-floor morning prep. I hope you guys found value in this morning. This is just a taste of some of the action that you're going to get in my live trade room at School of Trade, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, and, of course, with Marty and his partner Jeffrey at Traders Audio with their broadcast starting at 8:50 a.m. Eastern Time. We prepare for all the markets, crude, gold, euro, and Russell. This, of course, talking about crude oil this morning. And, of course, don't forget to log in and listen to Marty at Traders Audio at 8:50 a.m. this morning. We always love your feedback, so don't forget to send us your feedback, and I'll have charts uploaded here on the blog very, very shortly this morning. Have a wonderful day out there. Don't forget about that news in about 25 minutes. And I hope you guys learned something. Hope you'll earn something, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow morning. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.